Greetings, 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 everyone. It is Epic Cash Live. It is Friday. What is the date today? It is the 3rd. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Epic Cash Live. I am Uncle Vigilante, your host, Uncle V, most people call me. And with me today, I have Mike Mumola, who just had a very special trip to New York City that we're going to discuss. We have Yoga Dude, who is going to do something very special today. He is going to stand on his desk and he's going to put his nose to his knees to show you that there is a reason why they call him Yoga Dude.
I'm not doing the helicopter? Oh, never mind. Sorry, go ahead.
And then we have Max Freeman, founder of Epic Cash. And that's it. You got the threesome. So I'm going to share my screen and just get into it right now, guys. I think everybody knows that this last week, if you've been paying attention, boom, Mike Mumola took a visit here. We had a community fundraise to fund what is called New to the Street. And this week, Mike actually flew up to Manhattan and he had his interview. So we're going to get a download from him on the interview. But before we do, I want to share something with you. This is Mike being interviewed, by the way. I want to share something with you that what you're going to hear here is a message from a friend of mine on Telegram. He goes by Dark Star, really like Dark Star, really calm, cool, collected guy. Shout out CK. You should just start paying attention to some of these live streams, and then you won't be so freaked out about, the volatility of crypto assets. There's an inside joke there, but I want you to listen to the message that he left. Here we go. It's 90 seconds.
Yeah, really looking forward to those Mike Mumola interviews. Mike is the perfect representative for those type of interviews, and just by listening to him on your channel, Mike holds so much humility and space for others to speak. I don't even think he even said a word during that last interview you did with Chris Champion. So much integrity from that man, and even during that ambush interview that happened like 6 months ago, Mike handled himself really well, and I was applauding that guy actually during that interview. And so yeah, he's really good, I think, for those type of interviews, and he's great to have on your Epic team in general. Yeah, and I'm sure Chris Champion is probably linking you guys up with amazing OGs right now in the crypto space, which is amazing. And it all comes down to networking and having the consistent integrity in the project, and that's what actually why projects succeed and some don't. And having that, good reputation in the space.
So that was it, Mike Mumola. Welcome to the show, and that was a very nice message that was just left for you by Dark Star.
That was amazing. Thank you. What a way to start the day. I'm humbled and I'm honored. Yeah.
Can you give us a little play-by-play on how the day went when you got to New York? And
yeah,
and this is the first time any of us have heard this, by the way. Everyone out there in the chat.
Yeah. I have a little bit of background noise, so can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
As always on the road. But it went great. I think it really, really went well. We had what was supposed to be 5 to 7 minutes in studio with Jane King, the host. And I think they told me afterwards that we went somewhere around 10 or 11 minutes, which was long by their standards. Yeah. So I don't know how much of that will get in, after post-production, but I feel confident that I touched on the things that I believe, that we all believe are really important and why Epic is so special to us. So we touched on those features of Epic that I think will resonate with that audience specifically in a way that it will resonate with them. So I'm really excited by it. And what was even more, I guess, verification was what happened afterwards. So the interview itself went well. We had a couple of questions. Jane had her own questions. We talked about privacy. We talked about energy. We talked about scalability. And so we made some great points on that. But then afterward, when the cameras went off, as we were walking off the set, she said, so, where can I buy some Epic?
Right.
Can I get it on Coinbase kind of thing? And I walked her through it, why you couldn't. And we exchanged information, and we've been talking since. So she, whether it was because of what we talked about on the show in the interview or something other, she seemed very interested. And then immediately after that, the producers of the show, of New to the Street, three of them took me out to lunch, and we spent a good amount of time, a couple of hours actually, going over everything. Yeah, which they said was abnormal for them. Typically, you would have maybe one, maybe two of the partners. We had three, and we did a lot of talking. Yeah, it was really incredible, and they had a lot of questions about Epic and about the community. And I told them what I thought and what I felt. And, I think it's like anything, right? Actions speak louder than words. And I said, I've been doing whatever I've been doing in life for the last 20 years. The fact that I came up here and was willing to put myself out there publicly for Epic should tell you everything that you need to know about it. And they got that, right? And then we went much deeper. And so it seemed to really resonate. They were really excited. They absolutely want us to come back. They asked me to come back in a couple of weeks to go on to the New York Stock Exchange and talk about Epic more. But and we've been in touch since. They've been texting me. So there was a lot of excitement. I think we made a lot of great points. And I think we just opened ourselves up to an entirely new audience in a very good way. So thank you. And also, I talked a lot about the community and how much appreciation I have for everybody in the community. And so whatever great things came out of this, I might have spoke about it, individually, but this was a collective effort. And so thanks to everyone who sent me messages and gave advice and everything that everybody's done since I've been a part of the community to help give me that inspiration and motivation to just do what I can do in whatever small way I can. And on that note too, Uncle, you actually sent me some Epic, which you didn't have to. And thank you for that, for this.
Yeah.
It's things like that that are really just the community never ceases to amaze me. The technology behind it, the documentation, everything that we're doing in so many ways. So really great day on set.
Well, thank you, Mike. And no is a fine answer for what I'm going to share with you, but I asked for your Vite address because I wanted to express my appreciation, and I hope everybody out there hears me. Mike going to New York, talk about someone leading with his chin versus his hand out. That's all out of pocket. We're a community here. And so that's why I wanted to reach out to you, Mike, and say, look, while I'm not flush with cash, I have a good bit of Epic, and I would like to send you just some from, appreciation and gratitude. Would you be cool, Mike, if I shared that address in the show notes below? So if anybody watching this would also like, because I know you're going back in a couple weeks, and I just can't reinforce enough, guys, this is the best marketing, these types initiatives to where we go and network with people. And I know that you and Yoga are going out next week to Austin. Can you speak on that a little bit about what you're going to do and what kind of networking we might be able to expect?
Oh, it's going to be incredible. We're going to head out to Austin. We're going to meet up with Chris Champion and Mars and a bunch of other people. And there's going to be a viewing of Mars's productions, and we're going to talk Trillions. We're going to talk Epic. We're going to go through. We're going to have a fireside chat about Epic with some very specific talking points on it and get people excited about it. That's just on the 8th, June 8th, which is a Wednesday. And then the following day, Consensus begins, which is an incredible event. And we actually, Yoga and I are invited out there by some of the people at CoinDesk. So that's pretty cool. And we're going to be shaking hands and meeting people and talking Epic out in Austin.
That's amazing. So thank you, Mike and Yoga. Thank you in advance for going out there next week. It's so cool that Epic is so professionally represented. And that's why I wanted to start this live stream today with that very nice message from Darkstar, which you can find on Telegram. I believe it's at Dark Star, but really cool dude. And thank you. Really appreciate your friendship. Okay, I want to, a little bit later in the show, just to let you know, we're going to have somebody come on who lost 19,000 Epic because of a scam. And this is going to be a public service announcement. So please stick around to the end of the show so that you can listen to that, because he was scammed by an imposter who he thought he was dealing with someone at Vite. And if Enrique were on the phone, or maybe Max later, you can testify to it. There was something this last week to where there was an over-the-counter trade that involved Enrique and Max and another third party. And that almost got us. They are so damned good. So what we can all do for each other is look out for each other. And, you know, you have to put on the auto hoax hat no matter what. And so we'll develop that further. But I just wanted to tell you that. Stay to the end of the show, please. Little bit of housekeeping here. I don't know if you noticed, but after the Chris Champion interview, there were so many little snippets that were just beautiful and great sound bites and informative and fun. So Monkman and I went to work and we created these video shorts. And we did the same thing after this last week's Crypto Coffee with Todd Lewis, and Max joined us too. I will tell you, it takes a ton of work to do all of those. It may not look like it, but there's a ton of time and energy that go into those. So it is really going to be up to you, the community, whether or not we're going to continue doing those. And that's going to mean I want to see some action in there. I want to see some comments in there. I want to see people. I mean, it's like you have to have the attention span of a minute and a half, maybe less than 2 minutes. All of it can be shared on Twitter. We strategically did that. So now what I don't know is how easy it is to pull those videos off of YouTube, download them so that you can do your own tweet with them. But you have my
you tweet the link, Uncle.
Okay.
And if I may just chime in into what
please.
you just said, because this is super important. So look, folks, Uncle is bending over backwards, okay, to produce content, okay, quality content, good content.
Thank you.
And he's very sensitive to the demands and the requests from the community, because, and he admits it, and we all know this, that not everybody can handle, you know, an hour, 2 hour, you know, download of information. Okay, it is a lot. It's meaty. It's chunky. It's got depth, which is why, you know, Uncle and Monkman are taking this task. And again, this is not easy. If you ever done any kind of video editing or whatever, you know, to go through the content, to identify those nuggets, to pull them out, to re-edit them, and to put them out there separately, to re-upload them and so on. It takes a huge amount of time and effort, okay? But the flip side of that, for everybody who wants to support the project, these are those very nuggets that you can use in your tweets. So instead of just tweeting hashtag #EpicCash, or just, you know, which is not bad, that's great, but you can also just tweet a relevant link to something. So if you see some maxis talking about how, you know, Bitcoin is unconfiscatable, well, you can call them out on that and tweet a link to a YouTube clip that, well, just presents some facts, and so on and so on. So these are talking points. These are instant talking points.
Great
at
point.
your beck and call. This is a wealth of content, because we have a lot of people that say, well, I want to support your project, but I'm not a good content creator. Lo and behold, your voices have been heard. Okay, the man produced quality content, and the volunteer from, you know, Monkman, our amazing Monkman, you know, took those bits, distilled them for you to be able to then take it to the next level and evangelize for Epic. It's powerful stuff. It's a powerful resource, and folks, please just use the heck out of it. Sorry, that was it.
No, thank you. Thank you for reinforcing that, Yoga. And I want to, before I hand the reins over to you, which, guys, you are going to love Yoga's installment here. This is going to be very eye-opening for all of us. It's I think it's going to be my favorite part of the show. But I want to, so Batuan, you guys all know about how he has just done amazing things in his Epic outreach. and how he has documented everything. And Batuan wants to do another road show to be able to do it again. And he was just looking for a little bit of feedback. And I had an idea and I shared it with him, but we're going to have to discuss it further. I don't know if he really understood what I was trying to say, but I'm going to put this out there for anyone out there who has the set of cojones to go do this. Okay. Is I would like someone in the community, and it could be several. If there's several, we'll find a way for more Uncle V's to step up and support this. But I have a dream, okay, where there's going to be somebody out there who's going to have a partner with a video camera, and you're going to walk up to strangers and you're going to ask them if they're into crypto. And if they aren't, then you're going to do a little bit of education and say, I want to send you some crypto, probably the most important crypto that there will ever be. And if you walk them through downloading the wallet, showing how easy it is with capturing it on video, then the cool thing would be right at the very end, say, okay, you ever heard of Bitcoin? Yeah. You know how long it takes for them to send a transaction? Like 10 minutes. So, okay, are you ready? I want you to look at that. 3, 2, 1, you send, and then boom, it appears. Say, do you have it? And they're like, yeah. And then the whole thing is capturing their surprise, right? On film. And that means that while you're doing it, did you get it? And then when you got it, then you go, yeah, high five. Excuse the pits, but I'm sweating today. High five. And if we can do that, now I will fund up to 100 Epic for any single person out there for you to go do that and to send 5 Epic per person. So your job is to get 20 people to download wallets so that you can send them 5 Epic. And if you do that and document that, then I'll match it by sending you 100 Epic. And that's just paying it forward, because I know that's investing in marketing. I want to market. I want to invest in Mike Mumola and yoga, your trip next week. We as a community, we have to start thinking that way, that it's not just sit back, do nothing, maybe press a like here and there, but we need to step up to be able to help with these marketing initiatives. New to the street only happened because of you. And so how many other opportunities? We are sitting pretty. And you're going to see this with yoga's next installment. We're doing really well against the rest of the REKT market. That's why I titled this, Are All Assets REKT? ? Well, yoga's going to answer that. But guess what? While we have this momentum in a crypto winter where everyone is jumping off of the buildings because they've gotten so wrecked, we're here. We're doing just fine. And we have so much momentum, but it really now depends on all of us. So thank you all the mother truckers out there, the Islos, too many for me to name, but you know who you are because you're putting effort into it. Versus CK, I'm talking to you, versus you just saying, well, I'm not going to do anything in this project because you know what? You guys were late last year with E3 and with Bitmart and all of this and talking about what we didn't do. Well, think in cans, not can'ts. Think about what you can do today. Look yourself in the mirror. So I'm tired of that crap from anybody that gives us any crap because you're just not paying attention. You're not watching these shows every week. We report to you all day long about everything that we're doing. My God, show me one other project that puts as much community effort into it as we do.
Absolutely.
So with that,
and Uncle, I'm sorry, man. But you deserve better than that. Okay, whenever people just talk out of their butt, and it does get tiresome, because all projects, once they get a certain size, they attract trolls and Johnny come latelys and all sorts of other random rubbish. But the thing is, with some of these people, look, it doesn't matter what you accomplish, they're going to poo-poo all of that. Their whole thing is they don't want to participate. You're not going to get them off their ass no matter what. They're all going to be just sitting there. I mean, I know people who are sitting on a stack of Bitcoin and they're still bitching about it today, and they got into it a long time ago. They never lifted a finger. They just kind of coasted along. I mean, there's just some people. It's like, well, okay, fine, E3's out. Okay, fine, we're on Bitmart.
Right.
I'm gonna find something else to bitch about. Okay,
Fine.
there's just some people.
Diego's wallet's out, but it was late.
So there's just no pleasing some people. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's true, and that's why we don't focus on that. We don't look at that, and we don't care about that. We're too busy doing things.
You know what we're too busy doing? We're too busy talking about this. Yoga, your segment. I'm so looking forward to this.
So this is something that started from just looking at cryptos, because I heard someone say like, well, all cryptos are red. And I was like, well, not exactly. All cryptos are doomed. Not exactly. So it started, and the thing is, look, we can philosophize and we can present our value case and all these other things, but ultimately, to a lot of people, it's subjective information. So I decided to lean on the thing as a kind of a sciencey math guy, figures, objective, raw data, just stuff that you can't argue, like 2 + 2 is 4, you just can't argue that, okay? And this segment is basically how have things changed over the last 12 months, and I've expanded it on Uncle's request into some other things also. And what made me realize this, when somebody said, well, Bitcoin is down, sure, for the last 12 months or for the last, whatever, but they're up for the last, since March of 2020, they're up 300%. And that's great. Epic is up 4,700%. But that's great. But I had to pick some kind of a sliding distance.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is, and there's two things that I'll say, okay? First thing, the standard disclaimer that this is not investment advice. This is a reality check. So this is not, I'm not telling you to invest or whatever. This is simply naked data, facts, okay? And what people do with it is up to them. So that's the other thing. So if you look at this, okay, Epic Cash.
Hey, can I ask one question?
Yes,
just
sir.
and legitimately, because I'm just confusing myself a little, because I like how Max articulated it once, where if you had $1,000, then today, if you looked at R, I guess that would be worth $120. Am I looking at that?
Yeah. So if you had $1,000 in Pirate Chain, you now have $120. If you had $1,000 in Epic, you now have $2,600.
Okay.
So on a relative basis, you are over 2,000% ahead.
Okay, so that's what was confusing me. So I was looking at Epic Cash and I said, do you have 1,630? No, you started 1,000, so it's incremental.
Yeah, 26. Yeah,
Okay,
so you have, so your $1,000 became 2,630 in the one case. If you were in the other case, your $1,000 became 120.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for interrupting, Yoga. That was a moment of confusion.
So you could acquire a 24 times greater percent share of the Pirate network, if that's what your end goal was, by being invested in Epic over that time versus being involved in the asset itself. Epic is the scarcest form of money out there, and should continue to absorb value from other chains. We will see this pattern developing more and more over time, is my sense.
Okay, cool. All right, Yoga, over to you.
So just talking about, just crypto, and these are just some of the most popular ones. And no, I didn't stack it negatively. There are some guys that are actually doing well-ish, like they're not totally in the crapper. But like Solana is 12%, even though their network just shut down mysteriously for a day. And some other folks are, green-ish. Hex is sort of at a break even. And the other thing I kind of want to draw attention is there's these three cryptos here besides Epic, Grin, Beam, and Litecoin. And what do they have in common with Epic? Well, Grin is our venerable ancestor. And just like mammals came from dinosaurs, Epic came from Grin. And Beam was kind of about the same time as Grin, is another implementation of Mimblewimble. So Grin, Beam are original layer 1 Mimblewimble coins. Okay, Litecoin is essentially a Bitcoin knockoff, but at some point in time they decided that they also wanted Mimblewimble, so they just tied that onto their belt as an extra feature. And my point is, just because you have Mimblewimble, that doesn't really guarantee you success. In case of Grin, for example, they have single algo mining and they have infinite emissions. So their money printer is going burr like nonstop. So
Great point.
No value proposition. Beam, similar, but they have some other mitigating factors and so on. Again, I'm not poo-pooing them, but what I'm saying is it takes more than just tech to be relevant and to be noticed and more importantly, to be useful. And Epic with the three algo proof of work that anybody with a PC can mine is powerful. It's egalitarian mining. You don't need an ASIC. You don't need to have some kind of a weird, super specialized device to be able to actually mine Epic. And by the way, mining Epic with today's difficulty is challenging. Like with my, I have a pretty high-end gaming rig, and I could get maybe about, 10 epics a day at the most. So consider that when you're looking at Epic. So by the way, that makes Uncle's offer of 100 epics to do the video. Just think about it. It's kind of like if you were mining with above average rig for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to qualify it. I'm the first.
I'm not putting you in a spot. I'm just saying. Just think about it.
No, but this is important. This is important. I'm going to make that offer to someone in the U.S. and somebody another part of the world. So whoever wants to step up, they need to DM me and say, I'm working on it. Okay, and I will help, and I will fund you the 100 and 100 in the U.S. And then it's going to be up to you to deliver on that. But I want video of you helping them download the wallets, getting their reactions, high-fiving them, sending them 5 epic apiece. And then Monkman and I will work with that and create a video short that'll be so fun, amazing, astonishing. We'll put some music to it. And so I have 400 epic on the line, 100 for each of you and 100 for you to give away. And if anybody wants to join me to sponsor other people after that, God bless America and everywhere else in this world. How about it?
So back to this. So the other thing is a couple of people. We have some people from Pirate Chain in our community who are also Epic users. They asked me to include R. Lo and behold, I added R. They're down 88% in the last 12 months. And then people talking about, let's talk more macro. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit, okay? And let's talk at a bigger level. What else is happening? Because people are always looking to protect their money, right? From inflation, from other things, So what's some of the other hedges that people consider? Well, there's always, of course, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, okay? And that's down 4%. Not too bad, not too good. It's outpacing inflation, okay? S&P, the Standard & Poor,
Hey, where do you see? Where can you see, like when you say outpacing inflation?
Official figure for inflation, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But official figures for inflation are around 8%.
Okay,
right, for dollar inflation,
and that's bullshit. And that just means if you held on to if you had $1 a year ago, it would be worth like 82 cents.
In case of Dow Jones, you lost 5 cents. Let's say in the case of Dow Jones, you lost like 4.5 cents. Okay.
Yeah.
In case of S&P, you lost $0.015 from $1. Okay. In case of Facebook Meta, you lost 40 cents from $1, 41 cents from $1. Okay. In case of Apple, you gained 18 cents. In case of Amazon, you lost 23 cents. The woke Netflix is paying the price for its wokeness, is down 66 cents. So in other words, if you had $1 in Netflix, today you have 34 cents.
See, this is so important for people to comprehend. Thanks for taking it slow, because
no problem.
It's like some of these assets are like melting ice cubes, and you might think that you're hedging, but inflation is a bitch.
So, and that's the other question. What are you hedging against? Are you hedging against the dollar, which is also falling on its own, or what, et cetera? So, some other popular companies I just threw out in there, Google is down 21%. And of course, my favorite company, Tesla, is up 25%. Yes, I'm biased as hell. I'm a Tesla fanboy, and I love Tesla. And Tesla is no longer part of Standard & Poor 500. They get kicked and replaced by the eco-friendliest of all companies, Exxon. So, and Tesla is of course off the S&P list because they're neither standard nor poor. Sorry, that's my pitch for Tesla. Thanks, Elon. Check in the mail. Okay. Now, the other two things I want to talk about: gasoline price and official food inflation thing. And I put them in red, even though they're plus. Why is that? Well, because this crap is costing us money. So that's not a positive thing that they are up, because these are not investments. These are
I get it now.
living things that cost us money. So when this crap goes up, we're not celebrating. We pay more at the pump, and we pay more at the restaurant, and we pay more, at the supermarket, and so on. Okay. And by the way, can somebody explain to me, if the price of fertilizer like doubled, okay, if the price of gasoline is up 90%, can you still tell me with a straight face that the price of food is only up 10%
I know.
year over year? I'm sorry. When was the last time folks in Congress or folks in other data acquiring, processing, publishing institutions, when was the last time they were actually spending their own money at the supermarket? Just
Hey, yoga.
I'm a little passive aggressive on this. Yeah, man.
Honest conversation here this morning that I had with my wife. We've made chicken soup this week. I know people may not like it, but she's Russian, and I really have grown to love it. I love
soul food, man.
Boiled beef tongue, and so we were but it's Friday night, right? So I'm like, hey, she's gonna be home usually around 7:30 or 8 and whatnot. I'm like, hey, honey, you want me to stop and get something? You interested in anything? First time we've had the conversation, she goes, you know what, man, I went to my favorite restaurant with our daughter Vlada yesterday, and she said, I could not believe the increase in prices. And then I stopped by the grocery store on the way back. I could not believe the price of groceries. And she said, let's just eat leftovers. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I mean, it's happening. I know everybody's feeling it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So what is your hedge? How do you protect yourself? Okay. Precious metals? Well, hell, let's talk. I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about precious metals. Gold. Everybody loves gold. I mean, gold is the king, right? Gold. So you lost about $0.015 in the course of a year in gold. What does that mean? Well, net, considering that the value of dollar dropped, you're still in a greater negative than just that. If you're liquidating it today into dollar, for example. Silver, you're down 20%, even though silver has pretty good utilitarian value. That's just the way it is. So unless you're, and platinum, let's lump all the precious metals together, is down 12%. Platinum is kind of like the bastard child of precious metals. People kind of forget that it even exists, but it's actually one of my favorite shinier metals because it's heavy and not as vulnerable as gold to being squished.
I'm a lithium maxi, by the way.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to suggest. So unless you manage to become one of the head honcho dictator guys, in South America, in Bolivia, which has probably the biggest chunk of lithium of the world, followed by, oh crap, you guys are going to call me out on this, but I think it's like basically South America are the big swinging lithium suppliers.
Okay.
I think it's Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile are the three most noteworthy megas. And so unless you are deep into lithium, which did spike substantially, of all of these things, that if you were going to put $100 into something a year ago, Epic looks pretty damn good. And again, this is not financial advice. This is a reality check. Look at the numbers. This is zero bullshit.
This is why this is going to be this is going to be a clip that I'm going to ask Monkman to carve out, because this is one link right here, guys. Knowledge drop from yoga, and it just tells it. It's all math. So for those people that are, not acknowledging Epic's success in this crypto winter, I was telling before the show, I'm like, can you imagine if we wouldn't have had the retrace, which, we all know the reason why. And if then it would have just been silly, but as you guys have shared, there's always going to be those people, who come into projects that kind of mess them up. Anyway, enough of that. So thank you very much. I want to welcome a guest. William, you're on. If you want to come off mute. I don't know if you want to join us on video.
I'm here. I just soon stay behind the screen if you don't mind.
I don't mind. You're coming in pretty loud. So
Seems okay for me, actually. Maybe.
was it okay? All right. Yeah. Do a mic check. Will.
Okay. How's that?
Solid.
Good. Okay. So Max suggested to you to reach out to me to come on the show because heartbreakingly, you got scammed from what I understand, and you're willing to do a public service announcement for our community and just share the story with the hopes that that others don't fall prey to, because there are a lot of sharks out there, aren't there?
Yeah, it was a perfect storm. I had talked to one of the administrators on the Epic channel because I had a question. I was trying to install my GUI wallet, and I didn't know how to get the Node API address. And so I had asked a couple times, and I just wanted to get my funds. Ironically, I want to get my funds safe and put in another wallet because I don't know enough about wallets, and I just wanted to try to divvy them up.
Okay.
So I was on the Epic channel and asked them a question, and then they told me to go to the help desk. So I went to the help desk, and I got a response from Islo saying that there was actually my question had been asked previously, just how to set up the wallet and that. And Islo had said that he had a video. So I watched the video, but it didn't have sound. So I put down, there's no sound on this. And I got the response from Islo, and it said that he did that intentionally, not to have sound on it. And the second that his screen reply popped up, right next to it, his exact icon with his exact name popped up on the side of it, and I clicked on it, which was the fatal mistake. Apparently, the person that I clicked on was not Islo, but he was an administrator, and it just popped up right when it was a real Islo that actually responded to me. But it was the scammer popped up right next to it. Now, a little bit backstory on it. Jeez. A couple of days previously, I had talked to a real administrator and asked them for some help doing something. And they helped me, and they had me do some things that I wasn't familiar with and I wasn't comfortable with, but I knew it was a real administrator because, and the reason why I knew it is
I'm sorry, this was on Vitex?
It was on Vitex that's where they finally got me.
Okay, got it. Sorry, keep going.
So anyway, I had talked to this administrator, and I knew it was a real administrator because my friend had talked to him a couple days earlier in person. And when I was having a conversation, he mentioned my friend's name online, so I knew I was talking to the real person. And so I did some things that, I had to transfer some funds in that I felt uncomfortable with, and he told me to open up a MetaMask wallet, which I have no idea what it is. My knowledge of this stuff is like 1% probably.
Yep. Been there.
So I felt very comfortable with this person I was talking to because I knew it was a real person, and I sent some money in that I wasn't comfortable doing, but I did it anyway, and I had a positive experience from it. So when this icon popped up that said it was Islo, the administrator, it was a 2-hour process, and I just kept saying, I just want to know how to get the address for the GUI wallet. And they said, well, you got to go, first of all, you got to open up your do you have a MetaMask wallet? And I'm like, well, that's the same thing that this other administrator had me get. So it must be what you do. I don't know. So I opened up the wallet, and they said, take a screenshot. And I gave them a screenshot of it. And as I look back, it was really stupid things I did. If if I would have known 2 weeks ago what I know now, it wouldn't have happened. That's why I'm here. I don't want this to happen to somebody else because it's devastating. I mean, I feel terrible. The first 3 days I couldn't sleep at all, and I'm starting to get over it a little bit now. But I mean, as you guys talk about, the future of this project, and I look at what I lost, and I'm not getting back. It hurts.
Do you mind sharing just so they have context on
It's
what you lost?
19,000 epic.
19,000 epic people.
Yes. So I mean,
and I just want to say, man, not to go all biblical on you, but the scripture comes to mind. But by the grace of God go I, meaning it is like this could happen to any of us. Will
that is why I'm here. I mean,
thank you.
I can't get anything back from me, but I want to take care of. I don't want this to happen to anybody else again. I mean, this is just. I mean, it's awful. I mean, words can't describe it. I have a howl feeling all the time. And when you're talking about where it's going to go, and I mean, it's a lot of money right now. It's $20,000 right now. But when it goes to $10 or $20 or $100, then it's going to really be difficult. But I don't want this to happen to someone else. That's the bottom line. So what they did.
Well, I will tell you that if you set up an Epic Fund Me and just have it be a PSA to where, you link to this video and tell people to, or we can have Monkman carve out this piece and I can do a separate video. But then if you start an Epic Fund Me, I'll donate to it. I mean, look, this is tough. And the more the community realizes and recognizes that these scammers are very, very good, very, very smart, and they're very, very out to get you.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I'd appreciate that. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Someone would have to help me, and
you'll figure it out.
I'd appreciate it. But what ended up happening is they started me down this road. It took over 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it was open up your MetaMask wallet. So I opened up, took a picture of it after I figured out how to take a picture of it. And then I'm looking back and they're like, well, there's no funds in there. Well, I don't know how they knew there were no funds in there because I don't know what a MetaMask wallet is.
Right.
Luckily, no funds had been put in it. So, but I was like, well, this is what the person that I really knew told me to do. So they're saying the same thing. And so as the different things transpired over 2 hours, several times I said, okay, I'm going to stop and do it another day. And they kept on and on and on, egging me to keep going on. At one point, they actually called me on Telegram, which I didn't know that you can call someone on Telegram.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can.
Problem is, when they called, it was muted. I couldn't hear what they were saying because if I would have known their voice, I would have known that I was being scammed. But I didn't know at that point. So, to condense the story, they finally got me to go to this one site. And I'm like, well, is this secure? And they're, oh no, you're just in your own home and no one else, you're not on an open network, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm just here. It's, oh, well, you're safe there. And if you click on this thing and then put in your seed phrase for Vite. And I'm like, well, I'm not supposed to do that. But you have to realize, I kept thinking this was the administrator telling me what to do. 2 days previously, I'd done things that I thought were wrong too. But
it worked out.
It was, it was $1,000. It wasn't, it wasn't 19,000 epic.
Right.
So when I did it, it's 2 hours later, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. Oh no, it's safe. It's safe. I'm thinking that I've got an administrator talking to me, and I've got a scammer telling me it's safe. I mean, how stupid can you be? So I put it in. The second I put it in, I went back to my Vite wallet, and it was empty. So I asked them, I said, well, it's empty. Oh, well, they didn't stop there. They didn't stop there. So then they said, well, your Vite wallet's frozen. You have to send some Bitcoin. So at this point, I've lost 19,000 epic. I'm like, okay, fine. I sent them like $170 of Bitcoin just because I was trying to send $70, but I was just in such a panic at that point. I sent whatever I could. So I sent that in there, and they're like, oh, no, you need more. You need 0.079 no, 0.79 Bitcoins. It was like $2,500. Well, by this time, I mean, I'm not real smart, obviously, by falling for this, but I'm like, no, I've been scammed. That's it. So I cut it off there. So they weren't even satisfied with stealing all my Epic. They went to try to get $2,500 more from me. Now, after this is all done, I went back into I still had, could see my Epic wallet and $175 I put in there. I tried to take it out, but they had already locked it so that I couldn't even get that out. So anyway, that's what happened. Looking back, it's like everything I did was really stupid, but I just want to thank Max and Bad Wolf for helping me through this, because it's been very, very difficult, like I said, and each day gets a little bit better. I mean, I'm always going to feel terrible, obviously, and as it goes up, I'm going to feel worse. But they've been so wonderful with me, and Bad Wolf has got me to the security channel, which I would highly recommend everybody go to that security channel. There's only 50 members there now, and it's got to be more than that, because they've got videos there. When you sign up for it, you take a video, and it kind of like certifies you for stuff, and it shows you short clips that are very easy to watch. And even if you know what you're doing, I would still recommend that you go take a look at it, because you don't know what you don't know.
It's a great point. I'm going to make a note right here to include that in that Telegram. What is it called again?
It's the Epic Security Channel.
Okay.
Epicenter Security.
Epicenter.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Max, do you want to speak to this at all about just, I mean, if you've absorbed this, just
I feel really bad and guilty. I was the friend. Shout out to Harmon Walker. I was at the gym, and he drove in from out of town to come and see me, and we sat there and had a great chat. And then he said, "Hey, my friend, can you help him?" And so I'm helping him, and so on. And anyway, then he thought he was talking to me, and poor guy loses what will probably be billions of dollars. We can't unspill the milk and go back in time, but what we can do is use this lemons into lemonade, and use it as raw material to make sure that other people don't get scammed, and redouble our efforts at education and also coming together. William, I would encourage you to set up an Epic Fund Me. As I mentioned before, I definitely will support that as well, and get behind it. There was a guy who got drunk and gambled his money away on fake Uniswap back during our early history. I think he raised like $2,000 or something. It was one of the early examples of, oh, wow, okay, like strangers on the internet really can be a family. This is cool. So all hope is not lost, and you're still very early to the game. So thank you for sharing your story, and so that others might not suffer the same fate.
Yes, like I said, I don't want anyone else to have this happen to them. And frankly, Harbin was on the Epic channel a couple of days ago, when someone called him up on Telegram, which I had told him that they could do it. He didn't know about it, and they said it was you. Now, obviously, he knows your voice, and he knew it wasn't you, so they tried to scam him too, and he didn't know about that they could call you on Epic until I told him the other day. So there's a lot out there that we don't know, and that's why you really have to go to that security channel, because they're teaching and they're helping.
And everyone, please, when you're in the comments on my channel, I noticed this douchebag recently is responding back to people using my, he's just an imposter. And so when I see those, I of course delete them, report them, block them, and all of that stuff. But please know that I'm never going to promote anything else other than Epic in the channel. I'm never going to respond back to you if unless you have a direct question. Just never will do that. Same thing on Telegram. So we just have to be ultra aware that the sharks are out to get us, and they're getting us, frankly, just one by one. And
but folks, the one thing, never, ever, and there's no exceptions to the rule, never, ever give up your seed phrase, ever.
No.
Never, ever, ever, ever. I can't say enough of that. Nobody legitimate would ever ask you for that information.
No, and to protect your seed to protect your seed phrase further, you can take a quick picture, DM it to me. I'll put them away. I am joking. I shouldn't have even joked about that. I'm sorry.
Uncle, I'm sorry.
you
The
made me
worst,
laugh.
the worst joke that I've seen was, you know how they have those stupid things on Facebook and everywhere, like, what does your name tell about you or whatever? Somebody says, what does your crypto and seed phrase tell the world about you? Enter and find out.
Enter 24.
Horrible. I mean, it's cringeworthy, but it's people get really good at it. People get, and it's almost like you kind of got off easy. I mean, yeah, it's expensive and everything, but the worst thing, people install Trojans. They install,
Right.
devices, software on your machine, that can hijack all sorts of information, and it's persistent, and it stays there, and it gets you banking information, and gets all sorts of other things about you, so you just got to be vigilant. You got to be, the high-tech world can be really, really brutal, and the more you know about it, be a skeptic. Don't, if somebody's rushing you, stop the clock. Just like, nope, I'm sorry, just gonna, if you don't understand something, like if there's doubt, there's no doubt. Okay, just stop.
Hey, Uncle, can I add to this for 1 second? And
Please.
Will, thank you so much. Like everyone else on here, if you set up the Epic Fund Me, I am absolutely going to donate. But even when you were talking about somebody called and knew it wasn't Max because of Max's voice and was able to identify it soon enough, that won't even be enough because of AI and everything else with, some of the companies that are coming out. I'll be able to be Uncle V over the phone very effectively, and you won't be able to tell the difference. So people shouldn't be afraid to personally check others. I get messages all day because I'm all over social media saying, hey man, did you reach out to me and ask me to send you some crypto? And I say no. And I always tell people, tell me something only you and I would know about each other. Like, just tell me something personal.
That's
check
great.
people. Yeah. Where were we together last, or something only you and I would know. So make sure that you do that. So thanks for that, Will, and look forward to helping.
That one time at band camp, remember, Mike?
I do. How could I ever forget?
And that, Max, why don't you share
Didn't
with?
even know you could do that with a flute.
Yeah. I got a.
Of course we did. That's why we were at band camp.
Max, why don't you share with everyone what they need to do with their seed words? Really?
Yeah, and let's tie this off because I got a tight day and I got a lot to run through. So I'll screen share here in a bit. So what you want to do is get a metal plate. There's like just look on Amazon as an example. Backup seed words steel, something like that. You get a little metal plate and a Dremel drill. They're like $15-20. You basically etch your seed words into a metal plate. Make 2 copies. Keep one with you and one with your lawyer. Your safe, buried out in the backyard. Do whatever. Basically, you want to protect against fire, flood, EMP. Paranoia really pays here. You don't want to be that guy digging through a landfill to try and find a hard drive because you lost $80 million or something. So invest the time to educate yourself, invest the money. It's not a lot to protect yourself. And you don't want to close the barn door once the horse has already run out. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure in this case.
Great. Thank you, Will. Appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me on.
All right. And I will tell everyone with those little Dremels, it does take a little bit of getting used to. You think you have to press harder than you really do. But you'll get the hang of it. But it is worth every penny because man, oh man, those seed words are your greatest asset. Your epic seed words are your greatest asset. Okay, Max. So I know we're going to go over everyone today because Max has a lot of information.
Yeah, we'll just hustle through here. If anything's super important to stop me on, go ahead. But I'll just run through here. Alex and Johnny are out in Europe and East Coast, and they're waiting on me. Okay, so getting better every week. We continue to refine the format. Thanks for everybody who's helping on this. So EC Live, June 3rd, here we go. All right, so this is a bit of our history. If you're new here, this is how we got here. These concepts of what is now Epicenter came together in 2017, 2018. I posted the first draft of the EUSD white paper on Bitcoin Talk in December 2018. You can see the link or the screenshot down there. We launched the Epic public mainnet in, testnet, that should say, error there. Testnet in April 2019, mainnet in September 19. And then now we are in 200, we have 200 contributors in about 2,000 cities, 10,000-ish full nodes. And last time I checked, about 10 or 20,000 mining workers. Those are computing devices securing the network and sharing data on a peer-to-peer basis. This is on the right-hand side. Thank you, Thistle, for pulling some of our early history together. Everything we do is community-driven and participatory. And to get to our wonderful current Epic logo, it took, I'm going to say 10,000, easily thousands of sketches over the course of, I think, around a year. I remember doodling on a piece of paper on my bathroom floor when I was on the throne, you know, in humble early days. And we had 2 rounds of crowd contests on crowdsourcing websites. We got thousands and thousands of submissions. So this is, we eat our own home cooking, and this is how we roll. So 1 year performance, Yoga covered the numbers. Bit of prophecy here, Babe Ruth. Yes, we were talking about surpassing BTC all the way back when we were under $1, and we're saying, we said it then, we'll say it again now. You know, not hubris, just facts. The current market is down on the bottom left. You can see here that all it takes, I mean, if somebody buys 50 grand worth of Epic, our price doubles or maybe even triples. There's a massive imbalance where, you know, a lot of these other things can go to 0 or lose 90% and then lose 90% again, and then you can't get out because the volume collapses. This is not that, as we've seen here on our retrace from 6 and change down to $1. People are really digging deep and going, you know, do I need bodily fluids? Can I sell the family silver? You know, there is.
I'm going to stop you just because, you know, I'm not a trader, and this can be a little bit confusing. So this red on the, or green on the left and red on the right represents what?
So that is the current book of bids, which is buy orders, and asks, which is sell offers on VTEX, our primary trading environment. So you can see that if you're willing to pay about double the current quoted CoinGecko number, like if you were willing to pay $2, you can see there on the right-hand side, if you're willing to pay $2, you can only get your hands on like 40,000 coins. So this puts the scarcity into perspective visually. We're poised on a knife's edge of scarcity, and tiny amounts of money can absorb all new mining supply because it's really hard to mine. There's only 5,760 coins a day, and there's a lot of pent-up demand of diamond hands hodlers that are saying,
which to me, what this says is when you go back to investing in the outreach, investing in helping Mike Mumola, you know, be able to get to where he needs to be to evangelize people to people who are, you know, investment savvy, and maybe they need to become crypto curious with our help. But you get enough of those people who come in and say, yeah, you know, that the lady who interviewed him, you know, she probably has some discretionary investment income. And so properly directed, they could come in and say, yeah, let me put in $100,000 into Epic. I can afford that. And you have enough people do that, and all of a sudden, you know, you're trading $750,000, $1 million a day. And we're blowing past $10, folks. Am I wrong, Max?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's a little hard to see here. Actually, let me see if I can scroll in. Whoops. Okay. I guess not. On the left-hand side there, you can see the log scale price chart. So from March 2020 until I think August 2020, we went from essentially nothing, blasted through a penny, and then got to 10 cents. And then it was another 200 days for us to get from the 10 cents level to the $1 level. This is the concentric rings theory of cryptocurrencies. If you want to learn about this stuff, go to t.me/FreemanU. And then to get to the next level, from 1 to 10, these things go in a logarithmic progression, or at least the ones designed as with the original Bitcoin, 21 million design. 1 cent, 10 cents, $1, $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. BTC is experiencing friction due to fractional reserve and restriction on fungibility, and all these different reasons why it's encountering resistance, and the basic supply and demand argument is kind of failing in that case now. But we have lots of room to run behind it. And so if you don't understand, and timing is everything in these frontier markets, and if you don't understand what's really going on here, I know people that are hanging on to huge sums of cash, or they're bag holding because, I'm going to wait till my Bitcoin goes to 50 grand, then I'm going to sell it, then I'm going to buy some Epic. And if you do that, like, I would encourage you to say, how many Epic can I afford today? And then 6 months later, how many Epic do you have? If you consider yourself a savvy speculator or an active trader, and you are getting poorer in Epic terms, in terms of actually what you hold or what you could hold, then you need to reevaluate your strategy, because at the end of the day, Gresham's law means we're going to win. And when we do, each one of these coins is going to be worth a lot of money. And we don't know when that is or what it looks like on the way getting there. But people should not try to outsmart themselves when a simple, patient, dollar cost averaging diamond hand strategy is optimal versus 99% of active stuff.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. So this is the overall view. Epic is the tip of the iceberg above the waterline. It's what you see. It's what people focus on. It is not the entire story. It is the 50 grams of rare earth metals inside the F-35 fighter jet that allows the 100,000 pounds of other metals to fly. It is the key bit of magic that our entire decentralized ecosystem rests on. So looking backward, Epic has been 100% of our story. Looking forward, it becomes the foundation and the basis of our grander aspirations. And so as we open the kimono more about this type of stuff, the last slide has a lot of detail on these different things and where we are. It's important to know, where we're going. We have to look out the windshield as well as the rear view. So this is Epic. In my personal opinion, Epic is the future of money, and what we're trying to do here is become the world reserve currency on the backbone of the financial ecosystem of the planet. Down here on the bottom right, you can see the Extras pyramid in terms of the market for money and currency. Gold is currently about 10 trillion, and the fiat complex that sits on top of it is about 300 trillion. So the market for currency is an order of magnitude, or 2 orders of magnitude maybe, greater than the market for money itself. To paraphrase JP Morgan, I consider Epic as money, everything else is credit. And what does that mean? Epic is absolute title to private property that you can hold in your hand that nobody can mess with. Whereas if you look at stocks, you look at a bank account, you look at even BTC with its reliance on Tether and banking infrastructure, you really have to find or have to work hard to find an asset that has the valuable moneyness properties that Epic does. And so why Epic is going to continue to accumulate purchasing power in fiat terms is due to inflation. Milton Friedman taught us that inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. It starts at the creation of currency. So when the powers that be say, "Oh, Putin invaded Russia, and that's why your gas is up at the pump." No, not so much. Right hand side, that's US M1 money supply. Pre-pandemic, it was $4 trillion. Now it's $21 trillion. If you go back to the last time the banksters scammed us with the great financial crisis, it was $1 trillion. So your ice cube is shrinking. It's melting. The purchasing power of your money is shrinking. And at this point, I think people should ask themselves, well, why do I own these other forms of wealth if they're going to be subject to these pressures? Sometimes it's more risky to be out rather than in.
Go back. I love that lower right graphic. That I love the fact of seeing the dollar bill. It's really great. And I'm just going to pull a Chris Champion, which is giving a shout out in a smart ass way. Um, shout out to CK. Max Freeman knows a little bit more about you, more than you do. So maybe instead of not Epic Cash, you just pay attention to this presentation. All right.
Yeah, seagulls. We call them seagulls.
Yeah.
They fly over the boat deck, take a dump, and move on.
Yeah.
There will always be those. The only way you know you're over the target is if you're taking flack. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. So we're pushing through those phases. All right. So this is the heartbeat of the network. Shout out to Blaze in India, one of the teams in Epicenter Labs. They're working on a proposal called EDNA, Epicenter Data and Network Analytics, to be able to unlock more visualizations and insights about what is happening on the network. We've done about 150,000 transactions since inception, and we've got the capacity to do tons and tons more. We don't have enough time to dig into all the details, but we've really been working hard for establishing the prerequisites for mass adoption that we will need to be bulletproof at scale. So you can see the hash rates on the right-hand side, the difficulty adjustment of the individual algorithms, updates every 2 hours versus 2 weeks with Bitcoin Core. So that keeps the network very agile and resilient and future-proofed. This is how it all plays together over time. The triune of Epic, ECR, EUSD, the three assets work together to achieve store of value, medium of exchange, and unit of account. Three functions on two sides of a coin. It's basically a single ledger. We can get all three needed functions of money with a single seamless cohesive concept. So this is the pony in the picture. Going forward, you'll be hearing a lot more about EUSD. Just to get to the end here, we need 175 grand yesterday. I mean, we don't need it all up front. They're willing to do milestones. Unfortunately for this, the people who need to actually do the work need fiat currency to pay their bills, and they haven't really grokked the possibility yet of what we represent, and that's fine. We need to fund E1 in order to unlock EUSD. So if you want to be able to access your spending power against your Epic without having to sell it when you want to go buy something, then please consider donating to the E1 effort. We've got a 2-for-1 on the IOUs, so you'll double your money and time, and it's really a force multiplier. Shout out to Johnny and Alex and Alpha Eyes and the big brains working on EUSD. Those are the list of chains that we're going to be able to cover. 60 different chains. If you want to take your Epic and play around on BSC or EOS or ICP or Matic or Loopring or Cadena or Kava, I mean, look at this. Can that possibly have a positive benefit to our ecosystem and our value proposition? Absolutely. We're up to revision 34 on the EUSD white paper, incidentally. If you haven't read it, I encourage you to. We have what it takes to be among the top projects or even in our own class, and EUSD is a big part of that. So ECR, where we are on that is Todd's group has been working hard on upgrading the ECR claim tool to support V3, and as it does, then we can continue with the distribution. The way that ECR is primarily going to be distributed is through participation. We want to have a meritocracy and a proof of effort, a proof of contribution type of concept. And so through things like art contests and article contests and songs and memes and quotes, there's about 15 different contest categories that if you're doing what you're doing anyway and helping promote Epic, then you can earn some tokens for that. And hopefully having some added incentives and reasons why for people to get involved, we can bring out more talent from people that may be a little bit more passive and sitting on the sidelines. So as we distribute the ECR tokens, those are equity in the DAO that have economic benefits as well as governance rights. I imagine having the stock in the Federal Reserve, how good that would be for you and your descendants. That's kind of the same thing here. So where we are on wallets, we need to do a better job. Please help people set up wallets. We only gained +9 from week to week. Now this is net. So if people withdraw their coins off, and as the GUI continues to get easier, more people are doing that. So that's awesome. But we really should see more growth here. So if you're not setting up people with a new wallet on a daily basis, someone in your life that isn't in yet, that could be, do you not care enough about them to spend 5 minutes to help them
Well, Max,
get this wonderful gift?
I'm going to interrupt here and say it's easy to say that, but a lot of people don't necessarily aren't hardwired to go out and do that. And that's why I want my contact test, so people can actually see how easy it is to walk up to a stranger and engage with them and how fun it can be. And so it's just like everything
that's
else.
a great idea.
You need to be able to observe and get the confidence that, wow, they did that. And I saw that these people didn't reject them and punch them in the nose. They were like, this is cool. Thank you. All of this. And so we need to do a better job of being able to coach people on how to evangelize the wallet.
100%. And I at my apartment building in Miami, I crashed the holiday party, and they were there eating pizzas, and I was setting up the like the custodial staff and the valets and stuff like that. And in terms of hands-on user research, oh my God, it was amazing. Like the Wi-Fi signal didn't penetrate, and they had to like go outside in the hall, and then they were like writing their seed words down on paper towels and throwing them away. And just and then like the gray on gray, if you're a little bit older and vision isn't quite there, or the button's too small. I probably got like 50 different little tweaks to make things easier. Back then, I think we had, I don't know, 700 wallets or something. Now we have 2,400. So anything we can do to reduce the friction and make things easier, it's like a lubricant for the acceleration of our growth going forward.
Okay.
All right, so our Awareness and Communications Guild, if you're not familiar with the structure, review the Episphere document. We've got a dozen guilds in different areas where people are getting together and working on stuff. So this one's AC, Awareness and Communication. We've got writers, we've got people making memes, we've got people doing videos. Too many people to shout out here, but you know who you are, so thank you. Batuhan's looking for ideas for his next initiative. He wants to get focused on the ROI and make sure that he's delivering value. So if you can help him develop that and up his game, it's very early on in his story. He could use the help if you have the marketing and communications background and know how to do.
And I want to talk about this. I absolutely admire and applaud his initiative. And I guess my feedback to you, Batuhan, is it's not necessarily about where you go next to be able to advertise Epic Cash on shirts or cars or whatever. While all of that is cool, unless you engage the people and get them to download wallets and send them some, it's called paying it forward. So let's call this Operation Pay It Forward, to where that's where the magic is going to come. So all of the advertising in the world is great. It's great. But, if it goes over people's heads because they just don't understand what that QR code is or what that logo means, that's where we have to get our hands dirty and get them to get their cell phones out. So that's my counsel to you, Batuhan, is that's what I would love to see and I would support.
100%. Momentum breeds momentum. All right, so Mike Mumola was at NASDAQ Studios 3 days ago. It's going to air the 12th. There it will be around 100 to 120,000 viewers at a minimum. It could be up into the hundreds of thousands or even millions if people respond well to it. I'm
going to interrupt here again, because before going on, Mike Mumola had a conversation with, I'll share it, Rich Fogley's my boss, who with the company that I work for, the heads of our company, they've been on these shows, and he gave us just some absolute wonderful, wonderful feedback on how to be able to engage these folks. And he gave a lot of good coaching on how to respond, what to think about, what lens to look through, consider who the target audience is, consider the ad buyer of, you don't want to piss off the ad buyers that run these television stations or shows and stuff, and just that different perspective. And he said the key is you just want him to invite you back. And so what happened? Mike went in and nailed it, and he was invited back in 2 weeks. And then they said actually a third time. And so great job, Mike Mumola. But everybody, please note right there is a Vite address, and I'm going to include it in the show notes. Please send some Epic Mike's way. He doesn't ask for it, but I tell you what, that's the kind of pivot in thinking that we have to do. You might not be that personality, or you may not be networked in the right way. I might not be, right? But those of us out there, or like Mike, who are, let's support them. And the way that we can support them is through our Epic Cash. And it's appreciated, and it is just like planting seeds. So that's my appeal to you. I really want you to start thinking that way. So when we're asking for support, please don't roll the eyes and say, oh gosh, they're asking for money again. We're not asking for money. We're asking, for Epic, and then we have the EIOU programs to back it up. But it's just really encourage you to think like a business person. Your bag is your business, and you got to invest in your business for it to grow. All right.
Yeah. You got to understand Reed's law and Metcalfe's law. If you pay it forward and generate network effects, giving up 1% of your value, if your ice cube melts by 1%, you may find that you grew it through your direct action by 10% or more. And if we all do that, then it becomes a multiplier. Logistically, we've got the tip bot, we've got Vite wallets, we've got epicpay.me and Epic Box coming. We're doing all CoinKit. There's all kinds of things that are coming to make it easier, but there's really no excuse not to. And even if you're not rich, I mean, it warms my heart. I get people pinging me every day. Hey, I'm not super wealthy, but I have two coins. Like, where can I send 2 coins to help
awesome.
make a difference? Yeah, and it's people digging deep at their level. Everybody can do something, and if you're not, then really, you're kind of like passively free riding, almost parasitically, on the efforts of others, and that's no good. So let's step up, guys.
Those tend to be the seagulls that drive by, right? they're the past judgment, like, why was E3 late?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't like to focus on the exceptional negatives, because the overwhelming story here is positive. There's always going to be a little bit of flecks of fly shit in the pepper, but in the soup. But overall, it's great. And so I would love to see all these things. I started putting funding donations on the slides here, and let's hit them up. The things that we need to do to fulfill our destiny to get up into the trillions are directly within our control, within our capability, our ability to influence. And we've had the incredible gift of not needing to sell our souls to venture capitalists, and then banksters are driving our destiny. Our market cap is only 14 million today at the current numbers, which isn't a lot. But heck, can't we find a few tens of thousands, a few hundreds of thousands? I myself, I've got when we get into the biz dev section here, a lot going on. Let's do this, guys. What are we waiting for? I mean, BTC is $500 billion, and we can absolutely take that. So here's another one. I've been doing the DNA of Bitcoin podcast in support of the upcoming book. We did Kurt Jr. already and Safety and Amos. These have not been released. We're probably going to do about 6 of them before releasing. In the potential pipeline, Craig Wright from BSV, Roger Ver from Bitcoin Cash, Robert Breedlove and Andreas Antonopoulos and Michael Saylor are notable maxis, so that will be good. Also continuing on the AC Guild, this is Koresh Tony. He's a Russian rapper in the far icy north of I think Siberia, and so he is using his skills that he developed in working with Dash to do a V2, bigger, better, learning curve type of way. So if you can support Koresh Tony to do a cool Russian rap video, obviously, I don't speak Russian and I'm not into Russian rap, but he knows how to plug into the zeitgeist of his local market. And so I've
not only that, he's going to do a version in English, and his English singing is very good.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
And so if anyone has ever seen the Pirate Chain theme song, it is like gives you goosebumps. It's so good. It is so good. You just can't underestimate the power of a good song. So I can't wait to see what he can do. But yeah, no, he's going to do an English version. Absolutely.
Yep. That's awesome. All right, so the Business Development Guild, BD, my company, EEA, the Epic Economy Amplifier, in terms of my commitments and my investments and what I'm personally doing to help move the needle. A lot of this I haven't spoken about previously. There's a lot here. But
CK wants to know when we're going to hit $2.
Yeah, when moon. Right. So if we're going to be in the trillions, we need all kinds of infrastructure to connect Epic into different forms of money and different circuits of value. So EDXC out of Liechtenstein is a market maker, an algorithmic liquidity fragmentation solver, to use the technical phrase. Basically, as Epic and EUSD and ECR and all this other stuff gets listed out on all these different centralized platforms and decentralized platforms, you basically need to bridge the liquidity over, because or else it gets stuck and people want to buy over here, but the supply is over there and vice versa. And so you basically need rocket scientist guys, in this case, Todd and Johnny, to write algorithms that moves the liquidity where it needs to go. And there's a lot of complexities to that, especially regulatory. So EDXC is in Liechtenstein. Epic Impact Corporate Solutions is to work the carbon credit, ESG, impact investing opportunities.
Hey, let's blow through this, because I got a hard stop at 1:30.
Okay. All right. We'll talk more about that later. Community engagement. Great job here, guys. The one I really want to get to is the tech development. How are we doing on time here? Okay, 9 minutes.
And what I'm going to suggest, Max, is we do what you're doing here on a separate
special one.
Maybe every other week, because doing this every week just takes Friday.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, no, you are right. Progress, not perfection. Okay, so the tech dev is really where we need resources. There's so much ready to go that we just need to throw money at it to get it to start. And the one that I want to focus on here is E1. So I want to reiterate my call from last week. If you're a whale and you've got a big position, if you want to take your thousands of dollars of Epic and make it worth millions of dollars, or your tens of thousands and become a centimillionaire, then you need to reach into your pocket and throw down on this, because they're ready to go. In fact, right when we jump off, I'm going to go talk to them about the implementation details of this. Yoga, you are willing to join. So we've been working on this forever, and we need to get going. Basically, the E1 token enables us to wrap Epic and then go access decentralized exchanges on all of these different chains. So using our partnership with WanChain, we'll be able to access Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, Phantom, Avalanche, Polkadot.
Or we could do independent centralized exchange fundraisers and have to raise all the money to get listed, and then to be able to have market makers. We could do that like 10 times and spend $5 million, or we could raise 175 grand to do this.
Yeah, this is a one and done. And also we can't do EUSD without this. We can't do huge parts of our roadmap without this. Just let me state clearly and emphatically, there is no single more important thing that we need to do than get to work on E1. It absolutely can play a role in powering us to dethrone BTC. It's really that significant.
That empowers the bank of me, everyone.
100%. This stuff has been in gestation for years. Most of the hard parts are done, which is the design and the thinking and the planning and finding the resources and so on. So we need to dig deep and get this going yesterday.
Okay, do me a favor, because I see you have the all the information on how to donate. I'm going to hold you accountable to get me that separately in a separate DM. So just with all those instructions, and then I'm gonna bag my normal show notes for this week and just have it really be synthesized down to being able to help people find out how they can donate.
Every little bit helps. Thank you for your service.
All right. Okay. Well, I think that about wraps things up, everyone. Everyone in the chat, as always, thank you. I hope you have a great weekend. Max, thank you for being here. Will, thank you for coming in and sharing your story. And please figure out how to spin up that GoFundMe. And Mike Mumola, thank you for your trip this last week, your presence here, and your trip next week. And I don't see Gene here, but Gene, thanks again for all you do. And that was a great segment. Really enjoyed it. So
Thank you.
All right. Well, everyone, I'm just getting in this by saying cheers.